Well, good morning, everyone. We hope we had a great Thursday. My name is Florian Long, and I'm so delighted to be with you this morning, together with my teaching partner, Alena Ipanova. Welcome, Alena.
Thank you, Florian. It's good as always to be here, and I really like a new updated intro music. It sounds very festive and
Eh,
energetic.
Exactly. So we hope to give some value to our viewers today, and we're gonna look at human AI gap. We think now AI is part of our life, like whether we want it or not. It's a technology that came here, is here. We cannot just deny it. So we hope to give the leader some thoughts around, okay, maybe what should you do now as a leader to maybe prepare for leading in the AI era, and how could the future of work look like? So I am excited for today. I hope the intro brought the energy up. So now let's give some value to our viewers.
Okay, so Florian, I actually looked for some statistics and the recent reports about the future of work. And it stated there that about 40% of current skills will be outdated by 2030. So it creates an urgency to future-proof our organizations. And also, I see in my network how uncertain people feel about AI replacing them in the future and losing the jobs or upskilling or reskilling. And so there's lots of uncertainty around this and very difficult to take decision. Okay, what should we do? What's the situation? So how does it look like from your perspective?
I think those statistics are actually probably true, and they are predictions for now. We don't know exactly if that was going to happen exactly that way, but those predictions are probably true. And I also think it was a graph from the World Health Organization where it showed what skills would be more important for the future, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of communication, soft skills were ranked higher percentage of our work would require critical thinking, communication, and leadership and soft skills. So meaning like if part of your day at work you had, for example, maybe 20% of your time you needed to use communication, leadership, EQ. What they say is that percentage will go up with about 40%. So what they mean is not only that some of the skills that we have today are going to be completely replaced, but also some of the skills that we have today that are part of our days are actually going to become more important. And I think that makes sense if we look at it. AI is like a technology, right? So when we all got like an email address or a phone or a Facebook account or a LinkedIn account, there was a time when that was new, not everyone had it, but now it's a time when you cannot live without one. Like you cannot live without email. When you ask someone asks you what's your email, say I don't have one. You live under the rock. What happened? So in a short period of time, people will ask how many AI agents do you have on your team? And you say we don't have any. I say, are you living in 2021 or what? So AI, it's another technology that it's coming our way. It's here. So what we think AI can do well is the research task, the tasks that do not require necessarily soft skills. And so then, if you think as an employee, and as a leader, how can you stay relevant and even kind of become irreplaceable in this world? You would have to focus your energy and your, training, money, and time on developing the soft skills, because those are the non-scalable skills. That's
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we see. So not only that these skills will be used more often in your work, this is what the World Health Organization says, but also that they will be the skills that AI would have the most difficult time in replacing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I would like to emphasize here that actually in our field of work, because we both work with leadership, and you work a lot with emotional intelligence, I work with cultural intelligence, so we have this intersection. And I would say for us working in this field actively, it's not a news that these skills are important. we always promoted the proactive development in these areas. I think that now the context is changing, and the shift or the mindset shift, but also the changes that come from above, sort of, they make us do certain things differently. And there is urgency here, and we can't ignore it. So definitely we need to invest into soft skills development, or I would call them human skills, because this is, as you mentioned, make people irreplaceable regarding that. I had some questions to address in today's conversation.
Sure.
And
Dive into that.
yeah, so I'm thinking to discuss what the exact shift, or what leaders can do exactly. So if we are to give an advice, or if we are to comment on the strategy, what should be there, some key components, so that people walk away with something solid, not just with the awareness that actually developing human skills is important, but what should we do differently?
Yeah. My first thought here is that, and I use some of the AI tools out there, and it's a very easy trap to fall into, to actually think, okay, so now with AI I can do more. Like, it can become even easier with these tools. So as a leader, you have to think, okay, so AI, it's a tool that can save me some time on some tasks that I didn't even like to do. But now, what do I do with that time? Do I get easier in the same thing that I was doing before, or where should I put that time? And I think the competitive advantage that leaders should see in AI is that AI would help them save some time that they will then reinvest into employees' experience. In talking to their people, coaching their people, spending more time with their teams. Because I don't know about you, but one of the things leaders tell me, we're busy, Florian, we're busy. But did you discuss with this person? No, I didn't have the time to do the one-on-one this week. But when was the last time? About a month ago. So what they tell us is that because of the now AI has accelerated the speed with which we conduct business, and then it's like this fear of missing out if you are not on the AI kind of trend. Then it's very easy for us to get busier and still forget and neglect people. So if you want to do something practical with AI, you have to look, okay, so if we started to use the tool, if that tool saves me 10 minutes, then let me now schedule a 10 minutes, one-on-one discussion with my team. Okay, so each week or each day, if that's 10 minutes a day, then you have 10 minutes that you should reinvest in your people. I think that's where we could get very caught up into doing more, and then we think we are more productive, but we're doing more of the things that shouldn't be our focus necessarily. Like, as a leader, you should be focusing on your people. So that's very practical. Like, what do you then do with your people? Okay, that's the one-on-ones, the coaching, at least for check-in with them, for them to feel seen, because that's the challenge. As an employee, you will probably feel unseen in today's world if your manager or your leader is very busy. So how do you use the tools to gain back a few minutes of your day, and then reinvest that in your people? I think that's the key, right? Not to get easier in doing the same things. And so quite practical, actually. That's how we see. Okay, so let's use this tool.
It comes with challenges. It comes with challenges, I think, because imagine, even there are lots of conversations about also 4 days work week, right? And then you have this like one day. What do you do? How do you measure performance? How do you measure outcomes? How do you pay people? These types of things. And we see there are lots of different initiatives. But I think the challenging part is that if we say, okay, we have time to invest into coaching, into connecting with people, having one-on-ones, the challenge is that people possibly don't know how to do it, how to measure it, and how to, tweak the system that they've been working, or the context within which they've been working, and they got used to that. So they have to really step out of it. And I would say invent better practices, kind of leave something that worked before in the past and focus more on creating something that can future-proof, something that can serve everyone better in the future. And just coming to the soft skills that we both mentioned, it's very difficult to measure. I have conversations about it with many leaders and about different programs in leadership development, coaching, mentoring, and their concern is often, how do we measure? So we have a program or we have a workshop, people feel inspired, what do we do next? So I think regarding this, we also need to shift how we work with leadership training and what it is leadership training and coaching for companies today, and what are the exact things that we measure. And actually, those skills are not that soft in terms of tangibility. Both we know that today we can measure psychological safety, exactly identify where the problem is. We can help people strategically develop emotional intelligence. So these are the things that are important, in my opinion, to put it all into the frame. How can we measure that so that we see the progress?
I
So
think you
this would
make a
be
very,
addition from mine.
yeah, a very good point on to that. That's also okay. It's a challenge for leaders to sometimes explain or say, why do we need to do leadership development? What do I need? Like, they don't see the short-term ROI. And if you measure on like this month KPIs or this month sales or this month whatever you have, as a measurement, criteria in your company, if you are measured on that, you may be focusing on, okay, if I spend 1 hour with my team here, is that going to translate into a better outcome at the end of this month? And it's probably not, because the thing we're talking about is not like immediate impact, but this is kind of long-term impact. So if you're thinking about because one of the worries leaders have, okay, so I saved this time with AI, now I invested in my people, and now what if people leave? And say, well, that's a genuine concern, but what if they stay and you don't invest in them? Is that a better situation? Like think about that. So I get it, and this is where we would need to help our clients and our leaders to show the return on investment on on the training and spending that time with their people. At the same time, I don't know how we can hope that our company tomorrow is going to be better if we don't invest in our people today. And I think that's where the gap is between knowing and then really applying, because I think you and I sit with leaders and they say, well, we know. And I sat with the company yesterday and they say, oh, look, we know it's important to develop people. That's one of the core values here. We develop people. But at the same time, right, they would not prioritize, a leadership program because of other goals, right? So I don't think we have a logical cases there. We need to invest in our people, but we can get caught up into not knowing how to show the ROI, or getting busy into the business and not actually investing in our people. So I think there's a case to be made there, and also but there is also like more like, if you believe that people are your biggest asset as a company, then how could you not develop them? Like, how would you not develop your biggest asset if that's your biggest asset?
Yeah. It really hits me because I feel that it's so much true that people know that, but rarely we see the implementation. That people development, I believe, should be a part of the strategy. It's not something in many organizations. I see it something coming like on the top of everything else, oh, now we have this leadership program because every year our leaders need to get through this education. Okay, let's find the providers. Or no, this provider we work with for 20 years already, so they are reliable. Let's do a training with them. So there are no changes in there, no changes in measurements. And what I see as very critical aspect is that still many companies are using theories, models, or metrics developed in 80s and 90s. So probably those things worked to solve the problems and challenges that time, but today we have different challenges and also constantly changing workflows, the world, what's going on the global scale, environment. Teams are so multicultural, hybrid, remote. So this is a huge uncertainty. And one thing that came to my mind when I was listening to what you shared was the importance of agility, learning agility, cognitive flexibility. So possibly we have to also redefine what does experience mean or certain skills, how crucial they are for a certain job. But what's important is how agile we are in our learning, in our mindset. And here the whole system collapsed, like with interviews, how we conduct interviews, how we make decisions. So it's just overwhelming and very uncertain. And the point here that I want to make is about human connection, that if you actually develop human connection, if you invest into people development, you create a very good internal system or immune system that any changes, rapid changes that come, you will meet them with grace. It will be much easier. So for me, it's no brainer that everyone should invest in that, but still we have to make a point that this is urgent. You know, it's not just nice to have.
Yeah, and we may be biased, because this is what we work with, this is what we provide. So we may be biased, and so from someone watching now, we say, well, of course you're inviting us to invest in people because that's what you're providing. But also I think that's maybe a check they need to make themselves. Like they need to maybe stop and say, hey, what do I really believe about people? Do I really believe that people are the greatest asset? And if I do, then how do you treat your greatest asset? When we have a home that we buy and we think it's an asset, then what do we do with that home? We renovate it, repair it, take care of it, because we want the value of that asset to increase. But it's very easy to do that with a home and not easy always to do it with humans. It's just because I think the biggest challenge leaders face today, and AI will just accelerate that, is the pace of work. Like now, there is this dialogue also about 9-9-5, like that you work like 9 hours a day, you or like you only sleep like 5 hours a night or something like this. Is like the founder or the startup kind of pace of work. And then with AI, it's like you're always active. Like you could have like tools working for you when you're not there, and then you can have a lot of things to review already when you wake up in the morning and open your phone or your computer. So it's very difficult for us to kind of tune out and then see, okay, well, this takes me away from what should be my priority, which is my people and our customers. So maybe we're biased, but I think AI can only accelerate the development of certain industries. And then if you are a leader today and you're thinking you're safe, I think you're lying to yourself, because one of the big thinkers that I follow, he said that we are all here on borrowed time, meaning that there would be a time, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 3 years, I don't know, that when our jobs and our industry would be disrupted. Like, think about how much ChatGPT could help a leader which needs some coaching. I mean, you can get basic help, and you don't need someone like us, right? And that's there, so we cannot ignore that.
Yeah,
Right?
there.
Yeah. But so they have also their own kind of challengers. So if you are in any industry today, and you think that AI is not impacting you, I think you're fooling yourself, because what happens is that someone in India or in Morocco, I don't know where, in Algeria, they will have access to ChatGPT and Lovable and these AI tools, and they will build some solution that may challenge your business model. And so the only thing that remains for you is your customers that you have right now, that you have your relationship with, and your employees, which care about you and you invest in, and they want to stay on your company. But if you lose those two, and if you lose focus, and if you don't focus on those two, there is no other competitive advantage between you and the geek or the startup, right? That is coming from behind. So, and I think Jeff Bezos of Amazon said, like, our biggest competitor is not like eBay or whatever is the next one. It's like the geek, the in a garage with a computer, right? That's their biggest competitor. So I think that's where leaders and sometimes we may AI now. I know it's a lot of talk about AI. We're not going to talk about the tools that AI that you have, the AI tools, but it's like how to approach these change. Like if you think about us and most of the people watching this or here, like Manny, Manny Ortega just commented, like, it's important to give the time back to the people, and the employees, so then they can invest in themselves in the company. I think like all of us here, we haven't been alive during any transformation of the size that AI is going to have on the way of working. Like none of us, we have been. They talk about the industrial transformation and all that, but we're not alive. That was our parents or grandparents or grandparents. So this is the biggest one that we're going to live, and we are alive. So we haven't seen anything like that. We're not prepared for it. So if we are now kind of ignore it, then that's irresponsible. I think we should really take it as a serious threat and risk. But then we shouldn't be paralyzed either about it, right? So what do we do? What we just discussed is about how do you find the small wins. Like what would be some to your point, what would be some transferable skills? Okay, so one challenge companies have today, the strategy is moving because you have wars, you have tariff wars, you have politics, geopolitics, whatever. So your business could be affected about all of these external factors. And you would say, well, we don't know the strategy. The strategy is moving, so we cannot put the time into investing in our because we don't know the strategy. We need to have a strategy, then link that strategy to a learning goal, and then to invest in people. And so while I get the thinking there, what the focus should be is on transferable skills, like cultural intelligence. It's a transferable skill. It doesn't matter if your strategy changes. Would that be useful now and in the future? Yeah. Would leadership be useful now in the future? Yeah. Would communication be useful now? Would being able to coach your people, your employees, would be useful with strategy A and B? Probably. So I think this is where leaders could kind of shift, do a mindset shift into focusing what are, okay, I get it. So we live in an uncertain, ever-changing world. Okay, now you have to look for what are the transferable, kind of evergreen, if you like, skills that your people need. And it's about the things that we just mentioned, the soft skills, the things that AI would not take, would not, in the near future, they will not take over, and it will still remain kind of the human connection. So I think that's how I would, invite leaders to see, like, okay, what are the non-transferable skills? The transferable skills that you can actually equip your people with. It doesn't matter your strategy, if it changes, this will be still valuable for you and your team.
Very well said. And I'm happy that you named cultural intelligence because I'm very passionate about this field of work. And I would say to your comment about the strategy and about systems that we also need to think how to create systems in which people can easily move, in which people can easily develop. So it's not like separate things. I see now this huge demand on change managers in terms of all the hiring, and we see lots of redundancies as well around the world, but the job openings for change managers increased from what I see. But then another challenge there, okay, we are redesigning systems and we are also working with human development, people development, but it should go in line. We should create systems in which people can develop. It's not like a separate thing. It should be well integrated. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges as well, from what I see. And learning agility, again, comes in. Also transferable and applicable in any situations, across contexts, across cultures.
I totally agree. And one of the other challenges that leaders face is like, think about you being an employee on someone's in a company, okay? You seeing the development of AI. What if you're afraid of being, replaced, made redundant by not another human, but by a tool? Now, us at the time of this talk, it's like 18th of September 2025. There are companies in Gothenburg in Sweden, not like in the world, that offer AI employees to do the accounting and the bookkeeping. Like there are companies that if you go on their website, that's what they offer. Like the Swedish companies, right? That offer that to other Swedish companies. So now you cannot just ignore that. So if you are an employee on a like the way we had talks about COVID in our workplace, the way we had talks about the tariff war, the way we have talks about maybe the worst in the world. Like a manager needs to not ignore these topics because people in your team will have different opinions. They will have different thoughts, and you would want to say, okay, we acknowledge that's here and that's coming. So you as a manager have to acknowledge AI and make a safe space for your people to kind of talk about it and make it clear. I think we need to make it clear, okay, they are actually, I mean, we cannot ignore AI because sooner or later, if the business gets more competitive, we're going to be pushed down, okay, as a company. So we would at one point need to make decisions on how to we conduct our business. And it would be impossible to ignore AI productivity tools that will save us time. It's impossible. Like as a business, it's impossible to ignore that because sooner or later your stakeholder is going to tell you, okay, why don't you use an AI tool? And then you're going to have an answer for why not, right? Or where you're going to use it. So as a leader, you have to make this the safe space for you to have a conversation with your people. Okay, we know AI is here. We know it will disrupt the way we do business. And what we see today is that this part could be potentially done by AI, but this part will not be done by AI because that's our core, this is what we stand for, and this is where we're gonna need you. So you make that very transparent conversation with your people saying this part could be. So if now you're in that part of our business, maybe you need to reskill and get on this part of the business that we know is going to become core because we cannot stop this technology that's coming our way, and no matter the union or whatever you have, we cannot stop it. Like we're not going to be able to stop it. So how do we then embrace it and then use it here and not use it here? So people know that there is a place for them on the teams. Otherwise, you have this. Everyone thinks about, could I be replaced by AI? It's impossible not to.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm thinking about also, the whole context of our today's conversation. I want to kind of position it as future forward because it might feel like there's lots of uncertainty and lots of fear, and we shouldn't act out of fear of losing the job in the future, being replaced, that our skills or competences become invalid in a different context. But we should rather shift to the future forward thinking, like, okay, how can I have more exciting work? Kind of position it in a different context to give ourselves a little bit of boost and motivation so that we act based on what we want to create instead of running away from something that we fear. I think it's also important. It makes the whole process a bit easier, more lighthearted.
Yeah, and I think you're making this is really. I know you have a hard stop at 30 minutes in, so we're almost there. I mean, we're already there, and I want to value your time. And I think it's a really good kind of closing thought because the way each of us should look at these technologies. Okay, so there are probably boring things in my work or in my life that I don't want to do, and I'm happy to have something that can help me in that areas, so I can spend more time into the area that I'm good at. So this is again like we were talking about strengths and weaknesses and blind spots for a long time. And now you have a technology that potentially can cover your blind spot. So you can only work on your strengths. So I totally agree. That's the mindset we should look at. I use the technology to do the boring stuff that I cannot do, or to do some of the things that I do faster. So then I can spend more time with my clients. So I can spend more time with coaching, because that's what I love to do. I don't love to do the marketing. I don't love to do the sales. You probably don't love that either. So you would rather give that to an AI tool if it does it very well, so I can only sit with clients and deliver. So I think that's exactly the mindset we should look at AI with. Okay, so what are some things that you actually can delegate to the tool, so you can spend more time in your strength areas? And to kind of, I think to close this, Marcus Buckingham defines a strength something that strengthens us, and a weakness something that weakens us. So at the end of the activity, if I feel strengthened, energized, better, then that's a strength. If at the end of that activity I feel like weakened, like beaten down, demoralized, right? Um, that's a weakness. So look for where can you use some tools in your weakness areas, and then spend more time into your strength areas. So you would be strengthened by using AI rather than being replaced or weakened.
Yeah, and human connection, right? So leadership today is not about managing tasks and processes or even managing people. It's more about inspiring, connecting, just bringing the best and developing people. Maybe not that much about individual performance, but how you bring people together as a team, how you manage to sustain accountability and team development as well. So I think this human connection has definitely proven outcomes and results, but it has to be continuous.
And it's even more important in the AI era, because now you can watch a video, even like AI can probably create a video that you think is real of your manager, or you can have like this fake news with AI. So what I'm saying is, people don't trust anymore what they see online. Like before, you could see like a video could be used as proof in court to, in a case. Now you don't know if that's true or not. So video, you cannot trust what you see in a video or in a photo online. So human connection offline becomes much more critical, much more important. And that's where you make a really good point. That becomes even more important. So I think the offline events and offline connections, and you being off work and going on a workshop or an experience with your team, that becomes the goal. That becomes the goal in the AI era, because it's very easy to actually do things online. It's very easy, and then you don't really know who's behind that. You don't. I mean, here you can. That's why we do this live, because we're live. This is us. But I can use tools in creating my content, and you don't know if it was me or not. And they are now, bots, or I don't know, entities, whatever, profile commenting on LinkedIn, and you don't know if they are real people or not. It's very difficult to say that. But that's why I love these live streams, because you see it's me and you, and it's like unscripted, and it's real. So I think that's where leaders need to be more intentional in creating now experiences, human connection experiences with their people, because those become even more important in the AI era.
Yeah, that was a beautiful closure, I think, Florin. And we are good with timing, right? So
I agree with
we
you.
are ready to wrap up.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today, and also for our viewers. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. I saw some comments here from.
Yeah, thank you, Manny, for your comments.
Yeah, exactly. I want to acknowledge you being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we look forward to the next one. It's probably going to be in October. But if you have a topic you want us to cover, just let us know. Drop us a comment here on this one, or just drop a comment to us, privately. We'll be more than happy to cover that. But yeah, thank you for tuning in today. We hope you got some value at least.
Yeah, have a beautiful day, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.